Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Basement Breakdown. Last weekend was a success. UFC Fight Night, Park Hyun-sung versus Tatsuo Taira was a super fun fight night for those who watched. Can't remember the last fight card that two people got bonuses on the same card, so that's pretty crazy. There were some really awesome fights. Overall, on my picks, I went 9 for 12, I believe. Yes, 9 for 12, 75%. Nice little rebound off of the previous week, so we're back in it, guys. I'm just going to quickly go over the card. It was a very fun fight night, to say the least, quite unexpected. Pierre Rodriguez took Caitlin Souza to a decision. I predicted this. For the first fight of the night, Rafael Estevam beat Felipe Bunes in a decision. I think I may have said knockout, but I took Rafael. I took Austin Bashi by first round submission. Not too proud of it, but it's what happened. It's how he defeated John Yanis. I took Nick Klein against Andre Puliev, but Nick Klein had a very good first round against Andre Puliev, and for those who watched, we know what happened. Nick Klein got KO'd in the second round. Rodolfo Vieira took Trishan Gore to a decision. I believe I said decision or submission. Decision was way less likely, but that's what happened. I think Trishan Gore is no longer in the UFC after that. I took Nakamura against Nathan Fletcher. I think I took him in a 29-28 decision, but he hit Nathan Fletcher with a body shot where the toes dug into his it's his body. It was quite nasty. Nakamura's, I'm sure he's going to gamble his winnings, but overall it was a pretty good preliminary card. Couple decisions, couple knockouts, but some decent fights. The main card, however, was really fun. We went with Kevin Vallejos against Danny Silva. I thought he would knock him out. I'm excited, guys. Maybe Kevin Vallejos will get to fight Gene Silva one day, but he takes Danny Silva to a decision. Danny Silva was a little weird this fight. Kevin Vallejos looked good. I thought he was going to knock him out, but good fight nonetheless. Neil Magny has really good ground and pound, is what I've learned from watching him. Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos comfortably took the first round versus Neil Magny. I took him in the fight, but Neil Magny dealt with him. Now they're probably going to feed him an up-and-coming prospect because he just beat an Unk. Kale Rosa beat Nora Cornell. I said Nora would win. She looked good in the first round. I think maybe one or two of the judges gave her the first round, but she got dominated the second and the third on the ground, and Carosa won a decision. I believe she was the favorite. We took Esteban Rivabics over Elvin Brenner. What a crazy fight. I love Esteban Rivabics. He's slowly creeping his way into my, he's just becoming one of my favorite fighters. I hope if he gets ranked one day at lightweight, a really cool fight would be him against Max Holloway. I don't know if that'll ever happen or if it's possible, but just because of their styles, I would really like to see it. I feel like that'd be super fun. As I said, 2 fight bonuses. Mateusz Rebecki and Chris Duncan. I took Chris Duncan, I believe by submission, as the underdog. He ended up taking Mateusz Rebecki to a decision. Crazy fight. Chris Duncan fucked up Mateusz Rebecki's eye very bad in the first round, and what a warrior. For making it all the way to the end. I thought they might have stopped it, but they didn't. Chris Duncan took some damage in the last round. It was really back and forth, but the damage was definitely on Chris Duncan's side. Short elbows with the name of the game. I was very happy with that pick. Then I did take Tatsuro Taira versus Park Hyun-sung, and that's how the night went. Tatsuro Taira should probably get a title shot sometime soon after his win very close fight with Brandon Royval. He was undefeated before that. He beat Hyun-sung. You wait until Joshua Van fights Pantoja, and maybe Tatsuo Taira is up next. But we are still in the Apex this week, guys, which is why we are doing this video in the Apex. We have UFC Fight Night Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez. It may be a stinker, but we may see some fun fights. You never know. Let's get into it. Let's dive into it. Our first fight of the night is, and there's also some big favorites on this card. Gabriela Fernandez goes up against Georgia Stoliarenko. She is 11-9. Gabriela Fernandez is nasty. From what I've seen from her in the UFC, yeah, she beat Wang Kong, who I think is a great fighter in the women's flyweight division. She beat Carly Judice. Yeah, at the beginning of her career in the UFC, she went to 2 decisions with Yasmin Yusadishis, who's a very good fighter. Then she lost a unanimous decision to Teresa Bleda. And since then, she's gone on a 2-fight win streak, but most recently against Wang Kong, which I do rate that fight and that opponent. She goes up against Julia. Yeah, she's has a very spotty UFC career. I fully expect she has a win against Molly McCann. Woo! That's her most recent win. No way. Gabriela Fernandez by... It's either going to be a submission or a unanimous decision, but we'll go with a submission for Gabriela Fernandez. To start off the card, we move up. Yeah, there are some heavy favorites on this card, so I don't know, maybe some upsets. I don't know. Uros Medic goes up against Gilbert Urbina. The age difference is 3 years. Uros is a little older. The height is on Gilbert's side, and the reach is on Gilbert's side as well. Excuse me, guys. And girls, sorry. Anyone who's watching, really. Thank you. Uros Medic, yeah, his last fight, this also takes place in the welterweight division, was against Punhel Soriano, where he lost via TKO. This was back in January during the Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas rematch card. Before that, he beat Tim Means by a TKO. He fought Maitek Orably. He got submitted in the second round, but he was able to get some hands on him a little bit. He's beat Matthew Smellsberger. He's been submitted by Jalen Turner. He has wins against Omar Morales, Alan Cruz, and Gilbert Urbina. He lost to Charles Radke, where he got pretty fucked up. This was during the Dolidze versus Imamov card. And before that, he beat Orion Koske via TKO, which is a kick. And before that, he got submitted by Brian Battle. Charles Radke is a tough opponent for sure, who just most recently lost to Mike Mallet. Brian Battle is a good opponent. The guy who he beat, Orion Koske, he's got wins against Blood Diamond. I remember this guy, dude. Oh my god. Philip Rowe he's lost to. Matt Dixon, he's got a win against. Yeah. Gilbert's got the height. I don't know. I'm not gonna go with Gilbert though. I'm gonna go with Uros Medic to get this done by KO. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it'll either be a decision or a KO, but I am going with Uros Medic. We're gonna go with a decision over Gilbert Urbina. Uros Medic proved me right. Let's move up the card. All right. The next fight takes place in the bantamweight division. Jocelyn Edwards. Who's her last fight against? I think it was Chelsea Chandler. Yes. Yeah, she goes up against Priscilla Cochera. Jocelyn Edwards is coming off of the win, like I said, versus Chelsea Chandler. Before that, it was Tamiris Vidal. Before that, she lost to Island Perez. Good opponent. Before that, she lost to Nora Cornhole, who we just saw fight. But she goes up against Priscilla, whose last win was against Jose Nunez, which I believe Priscilla was an underdog in. That's an impressive win. Jose Nunez looks like a man. She's very short. Before that, she lost to Yasmin Yusadishis via submission. Before that, she lost to Miranda Maverick. She's fought some pretty good girls. She's lost to Molly McCann back in 2019. Ooh, zombie girl. I am inclined to go with Jocelyn Edwards. From what I've seen from her recently, like, she's a pretty talented woman in the 135-pound division. I'm sure she'll be able to get this done by KO or a decision, but we're going to go with a KO from TKO from Jocelyn Edwards in the second round. We move up the card. I think this has some potential. Okay, Elijah Smith. Lots of heavy favorites here. Elijah Smith's a heavy favorite over Toshimi Kazama. Toshimi's 28. Elijah Smith 22. He's got the height and the reach advantage. Elijah Smith is coming off of that decision against Vince Morales. Sorry, guys. Just hold up 1 second. Little tea. I also had my competition. I'm gonna mention that at the end. Okay, Elijah Smith. Yeah, looked very good on the Dana White's Contender Series against a. To be fair, like Aaron Tao, I saw him fight on Road to the UFC where he freaking KO'd Rio Turto. Couldn't remember the dude's name, but Aaron Tao's a cool opponent. Then he fought Vince Morales. These are both like close decisions. They are unanimous. Like, I do agree with them being unanimous decisions, but like Elijah Smith is quite talented. I could see like Kazama's a tough dude. Come from behind win in his last fight against Charlampos Gregorio. Submitted by triangle. Yeah, submitted by triangle. Before that, lost to Garrett Armfield. And then he lost to Nakamura. Like, I feel like this could go to a decision perhaps, but I'm sure Elijah Smith, I've seen him, he's good on the ground. He could submit him. Could even knock him out. I think he's just more talented all around. I'm going to go with a submission from Elijah Smith, if not that, a unanimous decision. I do think he's taking this fight, though. 100%. All right, we move up the card to the feature fight of the prelims. Julius Walker versus Rafael Caquera. The age discrepancy is 9 years. Julius Walker is 26, Caquera is 35. Walker's got the little height advantage, and he's got about a 5 centimeter reach advantage. Yeah, Caquera's coming off of a loss to Modestas Bukauskas in the first round. When was that? That was UFC Seattle, the Cejudo versus Song Yadong card. Yeah, before that he lost to Ibo Aslan, who I just picked against not too long ago. Yeah, he hasn't got a single win in the UFC. To be fair, Ibo's not a bad opponent. And Modestas Bukauskas is quite, talented. It's on a 3-fight win streak, but he got viciously knocked out by these guys. Julius Walker has a very close fight with Alonzo Menfield, yes, during the Seattle card as well. Cejudo versus Song Yadong. That was a very close fight. Alonzo Menfield is, that's part of the 2-fight win streak. Omar Sy, most recently. Yeah. I mean, Alonzo Menfield is a very good opponent. I definitely rate him. I think that Julius Walker will be able to get it done. He could KO him. What if Rafael Caquera just... I don't know. I'm going to go with a Julius Walker decision over Rafael Caquera, 29-28. That's how I think this fight's going to go. And we move on to the main card. And we start off with Eric Anders versus Christian Leroy Duncan. I took Christian Leroy back in his last fight against Andre Puliev, nonetheless. A man who I picked against this past weekend. Big mistake. Yeah, Christian Leroy Duncan is a heavy favorite in this fight. He has wins against Andre Puliev, like I just said, Claudio Ribeiro, Dennis Tuliun, Dusko Petrovic. He's lost to Armin Petrosian and Gregory Rodriguez. He goes up against Eric Anders. Eric Anders is on a 2-fight win streak, one being against Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman, the first round he knocked him down. Eric Anders, I thought perhaps the fight might be finished, but Chris Weidman's old. And before, so he beat Chris Weidman and Jamie Pickett. Jamie Pickett, isn't the Nightwolf? Yes! The GOAT, Jamie Pickett! I remember watching Bo Nickel fight him. Oh, God. That guy went somehow on a 5-fight losing streak before getting thrown out of the UFC, and it ended with Eric Anders. And he retired, I believe, after from MMA. I remember, but like that dude, like he hurt Eric Anders and like just didn't follow up for the rest of the fight. I remember watching that fight. That was a shit fight and very bad decision making on Jamie Pickett's end. Christian Leroy Duncan's gonna fuck him up, 100%. I'm going with a KO from Christian Leroy Duncan. CLD baby, yeah, KO, first round, or a grimy decision, but we're going to KO. Let's go. We move up the card. Miles John goes up against Gene Matsumoto. This is a good matchup. One where I could be wrong. Well, you could obviously be wrong then. Why am I speaking in third person? You could be wrong. This is MMA. Don't get complacent. Yeah. Gene, his last fight was against Rob Font. Split decision. I thought Rob Font won quite clearly, but, Gene Matsumoto was able to get his takedowns off, as he is every fight. I think besides his fight on the Dana White's Contender Series versus Casey Tanner. Yeah, Gene's quite talented. Rob Font's obviously a vet, and, he does that from time to time. Beat guy, started Kyler Phillips' decline. Gene Matsumoto, yeah, Rob Font still got it for sure. But Miles Johns, he's fought Felipe Lima last time out, who fought against Peyton Talbot. Felipe Lima was a, pretty hyped up prospect. He lost, obviously, but it was a decision. Before that, he beat Douglas Silva Andrade. Before that, Cody Gibson, a no contest, where he was beating Dan Argueta. Before the Philip Lima fight, if he, was a little better in the Dan Argueta fight, he could be on a 4-fight win streak. I like Miles Johns. He's pretty good for 135 pounds. I don't think he's going to beat Gene. He's got a slight height advantage, and he's deficient in the reach by like 2 fucking centimeters. But they're basically the same. I think that Gene's going to be too much for him. I think it'll probably be a decision. Like, I'm sure Gene's just going to try and get off the takedowns most of the time. But I feel like it'll be too much for Miles John. If not a submission, Gene will be able to grind out a decision. I'm sure Miles John will Miles will get like a round 29-28 Gene. We move up the card. Did I mention that Abus Magomedov is fighting Joe Pfeiffer at UFC 320? If not, I did in the middle of the video, so I'll throw it up there. That's cool, I guess. A nice addition. Abus is coming off of the win versus Michelle Pereira and Joe Pfeiffer, Kelvin Gastelum. All right, our next fight of the night, we have Andre Fili versus Christian Rodriguez. I am of the belief that Andre Fili has had some very close fights, and perhaps maybe should not have won some of them. That being, I remember when I thought he should have lost to Cub Swanson, but I'm maybe a little biased, but I remember watching that fight. Yeah, I picked Melquiz Acosta against Andre Fili. I'm going to pick Christian Rodriguez against Andre Fili again. Yeah, like, besides that Lucas Almeida fight, he's a very spotty record. Obviously, Andre Fili's, I just remember watching him, I think, like, argue with, was it Connor on The Ultimate Fighter back with, like, Uriah Faber when he was, like, on TJ's team. When Connor made a comment about TJ, and I think Andre Fili got up for a second. He's been in the UFC for a while. Like, I remember when he was an up-and-coming dude. Like, he's fought Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez, Calvin Kattar, Artem Lobov, who's coming back, I think, to fight in, like, the PFL or something soon. Yeah, he's fought a lot of guys. But he's, he's lost a lot of fights recently. He's 2-2 in his last 4, and I don't know if he should have beat Cub Swanson. I think he's gonna lose to Christian Rodriguez. Christian had a closer fight with Melquiz Acosta. Well, I picked Melquiz Acosta in that fight as well. It was a lot closer for sure. So he also has that win against Austin Bashi, who we just saw win this weekend, who's a very high-rated prospect. I think Andre Fili's gonna lose this by unanimous decision or submission. So I'm going to go with a Christian Rodriguez submission over Andre Fili. Either that or unanimous decision, but we're going with a submission. Yeah. Next we have Lasmine Lucindo versus Angela Hill. Angela Hill. She has a split decision win against Caitlin Souza. Unanimous decision loss to Tabitha Ritchie. Arguably could have won that fight. She could be on a 4-fight win streak right now, which is kind of weird to think about this late into her career. She has a spotty record, but you have to understand that all of her fights basically come in the UFC. I respect Angela Hill. She's hung around a long time. Lasmine Lucindo's last time out, she fought Amanda Lemos, where she lost unanimous decision. She's beaten Carolina Koliskouts, Poliana Viana, Brogan Walker, Marina Rodriguez. Yeah, she's 5'3", 6'6" reach. Angela Hill's 5'3", 6'4" reach, 64 reach. Yeah, she's like, they're both the same as far as their dimensions, basically. Almost beat Tabitha Ritchie though. Like, she could have arguably beat her. Then Lasmin Lucindo's last one was against a loss to Amanda Lemos. She's fought nothing but the best. Fuck. I feel like there's some money here for Angela Hill. I feel like I would like to do it, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna go with Lasmin Lucindo by decision. I feel like they'll rob Angela Hill if she's ahead in the strikes, just because of the fact that Lasmin Lucindo's young and she's a prospect. Like, she was born in 2002. Angela Hill was born in 1995. I respect the hell out of her. If it's a close fight, they're gonna rob her. Lasmin Lucindo by unanimous decision. We move up the card. I believe we are now at the co-main event, being Steve Erceg versus Ode Osborne. Steve Erceg has had a rough go in the UFC. He was thrusted a little too early into the limelight. He had a very close fight with Alejandro Pantoja. A lot of people thought he could have won that fight. I've watched a lot of videos on it. I remember watching the fight itself. If he could have stuffed a couple more takedowns, perhaps. He looked very good on the feet. And after that, he got a fight against Kai Kara France, which shot Kai Kara France up into a title shot against Pantoja. And then he got offered another former champion in Brandon Moreno. And, you know, Steve Erceg did well in the Brandon Moreno fight. He looked like he didn't get, knocked out, but Brandon Moreno comfortably won that fight. Steve Erceg started to look better. I think some of the judges gave it like a 49-46. I don't know if I agree with that. I think Steve Erceg might have picked 2 rounds off, but yeah. Pantoja, Kai Kara France, Brandon Moreno. Now he's fighting Ode Osborne. He fought David Dovrak in his first fight, then Alessandro Costa, then Matt Schnell, probably his most memorable fight where he knocked him out, and then he got the title shot, obviously. I like Astro Boy, very talented. Shouldn't have called Dricus' striking a 6. That might be why he got knocked out in his next fight. I remember watching that. Obviously, I remember watching that. I just said it. But yeah, I remember when he was like called Dricus like a 6 out of 10 as a fighter, and then Dricus posted like a video of him Steve getting knocked out by Kai Kara France like a 6. Oh. But yeah, all right. Ode Osborne. I picked against Ode Osborne in his last fight because, it's hard. I thought, yeah, he's got to win versus Charles Johnson, which I rate. Aslam Abayev choked him out. Jafael Filo choked him out. Ronaldo Rodriguez. This is late notice, I believe. I saw this fight like a couple days ago, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know about this. I'm sure Steve Erceg is going to be able to take care of business. If not by a knockout, he's going to get it done by unanimous decision. No way, no how. Yeah, and then that gets the Astro Boy back into the win column. It's nice to see him get like, I don't know, like an opponent who like isn't like a form. Like, it's just like I don't want to say he's like undeserving, but like, you guys can let me know what you think. Those are some Pantoja, Kai Kara France, Brandon Moreno. These are people who fought for the title, like almost like back to back to back. It's Steve Erceg's had a rough go, so I hope he gets this fight done in vicious fashion by like a knockout, which will propel him in his confidence. So, sorry, Ode. We move to the main event. Roman Dolidze takes on Anthony Hernandez, guys. Anthony Hernandez is he on a 7-fight win streak, I believe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Most recently against Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen pisses me off because he's picked rounds off against Imavov and Anthony Hernandez being the first round, but we're not here to talk about that. Anthony Hernandez has looked good in his last 7 fights. Michel Pereira, Roman Kopylov, Edmund Shabazian, Marc-Andre Beirut, Josh Fremd, Rodolfo Vieira. All talented guys, all guys who have been maybe not all winning recently, but they're all tough guys who they're all prolific fighters. He has that loss to Kevin Holland, which was his last loss, which looks really good on Kevin Holland's career, to be honest with you. But yeah, he goes up against Roman Dolidze. Roman's got a 3-fight win streak going on against Anthony Smith, Kevin Holland, and Marvin Vettori. I picked him against all three, obviously. Close fight with Marvin Vettori. He lost. This was a rematch. He lost to Marvin Vettori the first time. And then after, he lost a mixed decision to Nasruddin Imavov. I don't know why it was a mixed decision. I thought Nasruddin Imavov whipped him. I mean, when you look at this, like, it was, I don't know, I thought it was a bad judging. I thought it was a clear unanimous decision. But Dolidze's only lost to, you know, Marvin Vettori, Imavov, and Trevin Giles back in 2021. But he has wins against Kyle Daukaus, Phil Hawes, Jack Hermanson. He's got some wins against some good guys. He's not favored in this fight, for sure not. I think he's almost plus 350 or plus 400. I'm probably going to have to go with Fluffy, Anthony Hernandez, to win a unanimous decision. Roman Dolidze is good on the ground, but, like, what can I really say? Anthony Hernandez is a little younger. He might be like 2 inches shorter. As far as the reach, they're very close in reach. I think that Anthony Hernandez has fought a higher tier of opponent. Anthony Smith and Kevin Holland, you know, Kevin Holland's sitting at 170 pounds now. He's not great at 185. Anthony Smith's retired. Marvin Vettori just lost another fight to Brendan Allen, a guy who Anthony Hernandez just beat. And, you know, I know that was a close fight, but I think Anthony Hernandez will be able to get this done against Roman Dolidze. Maybe there's some money in Roman Dolidze as an underdog. Maybe someone like MMA Guru will make a video and then he'll pick him. But I'm not going that route. I'm going with Anthony Hernandez by unanimous decision. And that wraps up the card. Yeah, Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez, guys. We won't have to wait too much longer because next week is UFC 319. I'm super fired up for that. We get out of the Apex. And we get to see Dricus du Plessis take on Khamzat Chimaev. Yeah, hopefully we can keep this streak going for the picks. And yeah, I bummed my ankle a little bit. I was a type 1 fracture. So I'm going to put a video up. When I was squatting during my competition on the weekend on Saturday, I fucked it up. And that's the first lift of the night. It's squat, bench, then deadlift. So it screwed my entire night up. My performance was not very good. I still came in third in my weight class, but it was really not what I wanted. I wanted to qualify for, you know, provincials and stuff, but I wasn't able to do that. And I didn't really, like, in the moment talk about it to, like, anyone around me because I kind of just knew it happened. I was like, fuck. But yeah, it kind of sucked, but onwards and upwards, heal up, get better. Yeah, so I got some healing up to do, but I also I'm hyped for UFC, so let's do well with the picks. I'm hyped to know what you guys think about the matchups in my picks, and let's get it. Basement Breakdown out.
Men's Raw Open 105 kilo class in third place with a 540 kilo total. The bronze medal goes to Benjamin. And second place with a 565 kilo total. The bar is loaded for Benjamin. That's a good